Let's talk about Vice President Kamala Harris, that what she thinks is the biggest national security threat facing our nation. Take a listen.
Frankly, one of them is our democracy. There is, I think, no question in the minds of people who are foreign policy experts that the year 2021 is not the year 2000. We are embarking on a new era where the threats to our nation take many forms, including the threat of autocracies taking over and having outsized influence around the world.
Rick, what is she talking about?
I'm not sure what she's talking about. I want to point out one thing, though. She did talk about foreign policy experts as really a way to say that others are foreign policy experts, that she is not. That, to me, was an admission right there. Look, as a Californian, I look at her stumbling here, and I just think shame on Sacramento and the California reporters for not vetting somebody. Clearly she's failing on the world stage, talking about our biggest threat as, democracy or something that's happening here. I mean, she's literally talking about the biggest threat we face is internal and not Iran, not China, not the rise of China. Democrats keep saying Russia, Russia, Russia on everything. She didn't even say Russia. So I think that this is just so obvious that she's in over her head. And to me, I blame the California system, one-party political system that has allowed her to rise without being vetted.
Yeah, Rick, you're in California. What have people said? Have they changed their tune? I don't know if you've talked to Democrats or even independents, if they have said, yeah, I'm not really sure I made the right decision or not really happy with what we're seeing in the White House.
There's no question that many of the independents, the declined staters, as we say, people that don't pick Republican or Democrat sides, those individuals are very nervous about seeing Kamala Harris on the stage. Remember, because our media in California have not vetted her, many people in California just haven't seen her perform. They don't know that she stumbles over all these little issues, and they see her failing, and they don't understand why. What I think we've got a lot of work to do in California is to explain that the one party that controls the entire state, it's never good to have one party controlling an entire state, and we need to be able to make that case to the people.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.